Hello, in this video, we're going to talk about base case lanes. In AIMMS network design, by enforcing base case lanes, you force your model to recreate a flow based on historical data, and you can use it as a reference to compare with optimized scenarios. Let's do one example together. Today, we will replicate this base case. It's a super simple example of a company that produces and sells candy. According to the data obtained in 2022, the company imported 3,000 tons of sugar from their supplier in Cologne to the production facility in Maastricht. Then they sent the finished products to the distribution centers, one in Munich and the other one in Paris. And finally, the products were shipped to the final customers in Budapest, Rome, Zurich, and Nantes. Now, let's populate the template together. We're only going to focus on how to populate the transport cost datasheet, where you input the information of the base case, skipping the creation of the template on Data Navigator and how to populate the rest of the sheets. To make things easier, we have grouped the locations in the location relation sheet. In the group supplier, we only have Cologne. In the group production, we only have Maastricht. In the group CDC refers to both of our distribution centers, one in Munich and the other one in Paris. And in the group demand, we have all our customers. Now, let's go to the transport cost datasheet. Here, I have already refined 3 transport lanes using the groupings we just saw. As you can see in the diagram, these lanes give the information to the system of all the possible lanes of transport that the system is allowed to use to optimize the model. Row number 2 defines the inbound transport for the supplier to the production facility. Row number 3 defines the primary transport lanes from our production facility to our distribution centers. And row number 4 defines all the possible secondary transport options to serve the demand. When optimizing the model, the system will pick the most efficient lanes. Now, let's write together our base case lanes. Let's start defining this lane over here. To specify a base case lane, you need to define the following attributes. First, mode of transport. For this lane is inbound raw material. Product for this lane is sugar. From location, from this lane is Cologne low-RM. To location, for this lane is Maastricht low-prod. Period is 2022. Then set base case lane attribute to 1 and fill in the base case volume you want to enforce. In this case, is 3,000 tons. Finally, make the lane available, putting a 1 under the available attribute. Then, you need to repeat this process for all the lanes. Let's do that fast. Phew, great, we're finished. Now we're ready to go to Network Design app and see what happens and how our model works. Well, now we are in Network Design Navigator app, and I created a dataset with the template we just completed together, and now we load it here. Now, to turn on base case function in the control panel, you can flag enforce basic constraints. And we will also relax lead time to avoid running into an infeasibility, and you press on optimize model. So if you go to results overview, we can already see our base case scenario. I'm gonna show the secondary transport lanes, and also here I'm gonna show the lanes by volume so we can see better. And yeah, now we can save this scenario. We're going to need this to then compare the scenarios. And now to run the optimized scenario, we need to flag off base case constraints and optimize. We go to results overview again, and we can already see that there's a difference between both scenarios. The customer Zurich is now being served by the DC in Munich instead of the DC in Paris. And let's save this scenario as well. Now, if we select a reference scenario, we can see both maps side by side and see the difference more clearly. Finish the example, we will compare the cost for both scenarios. For that, we will go to compare scenarios and select the scenarios we saved. And if we hover over the numbers, we can see the increase or decrease of each of the costs between the optimized scenarios and the base case. Now you have learned how to enforce base case lanes, to replicate your model, how to input data in the same data set, to run an optimization of the model, and how to compare both scenarios.